What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Blackout back at it again with another Assetto Corsa video. We're on episode 4 and we are on the 4th race of our 5-race championship. Now, we are going to be at the Nurburgring today, and man, this was a fun race. This is probably, arguably, my best weekend, I think, on Assetto Corsa in general. All I have to say is you guys are definitely in for really exciting races, exciting qualifying sessions, you name it. Now, without further ado, let's hop into this race weekend. So for a little bit of background on my experience here on the GP circuit. Oh, and to clarify for those who are Nurburgring enthusiasts, this is the GP circuit, not the full Nordschleife. So sorry to disappoint you on that, but it's my experience here on the GP circuit. I've done my fair share of amount on this type of circuit. I've done a lot of the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife has definitely been one of my favorite races here. I've actually done in the old Forza Motorsport 7. I've actually done a full 6-hour 38-lap race around the full Nürburgring, the GP circuit, the Nordschleife, all of it, the whole 16-mile race. I did a whole 38-lap race around that in the Audi LMP1. I forgot the full name of it. It's like the Audi Quattro LMP1. But yeah, that was such a fun race to do, even though you had to refuel about every 2-3 laps. But that was such a fun race to do. First place. But yeah. So as you can see here, I had an invalidated lap because I was going off track. But what I wanted to do here was to practice how I enter pit road. And as if you saw my Zandvoort episode 3, my first attempt at coming into the pit road was horrible. I mean, it was a crash and everything, but yeah, you just have to watch that video to see. So here we had a better, way better, 100% better entry into pit lane. I thought I was going to be going into pit road, but instead I changed my mind, just wanted to practice that instead. And yeah, I think we successfully did that. Blue flags, and we exited off that very horribly, and we went off track with blue flags, so we have two invalidated laps at that. So we are not off to a good start here at the Nürburgring, and we have 1 minute 45 left to completely change that and get a lap in so that we have a good spot for race 1. However, that will change though with this lap right here when we have less than 10 seconds on the qualifying session. And I'm just going to shut up and let you all hear the noise. And just like that, we pull off a lightning fast Max Verstappen lap as we are a full second to the number 10 Audi behind us. Wow. We are at a great start here to the Nurburgring, and hopefully we can get a full trifecta and a perfect weekend. A grand slam, as they may call it, as we were able to slam both free practice sessions and qualifying. And this qualifying session in itself gives us a good cushion for the next session. Now here, I wanted to change the setup of the car to a aggressive setup, and we wanted to decrease the amount of fuel so that we could get a little bit faster and a little bit more nimble and see how that. I wanted to test this out and see how it is, get our mechanics to set up the car perfectly, and once it's set up, we are off with about less than 4.5 minutes left of the session. So for those of you who don't know, these qualifying sessions are about 5 minutes long, and the races are 15 minutes long, as I just completely crossed that pit lane exit line, which is not good. Don't ever do that. That can definitely get a penalty for you. But I need to set up penalties for the next race. So I'm sliding around a lot, and I think that's just the car going faster and less traction control because it's an aggressive setup, and so meaning less traction so that we can get better. I decided to tweak the traction just a little bit so that I can not really slide and lose time because I'm still really learning. But we don't use it too much. Like, I don't have it all the way up. Traction control is not a crutch for me. If I had it all the way up, it would definitely be a crutch, and that would not be learning. That would just be using assists. I can't speak. But using traction control as my main source of keeping the car straight and not basic skill. So we want to learn to use that less as we progress more and more into this game. Alright, so qualifying lap, my first qualifying lap in Q2, we are stuck behind this Audi, and because of that I try to aggressively pass. We go off track, and our first lap is invalidated. So not off to the best start. We are less than 50 seconds off from the end of the session. I do a pass, which is, I believe, very clean on the Audi in front of us, and do another pass on the Audi also in front of us. So we are passing this train of cars. We're going to try and get a good pass on the Lamborghini here, and we get a good narrow pass. Passing, I believe, has just been getting better and better as I progress in this game. So I'm very proud of that. As we just go into the grass a little bit, the Lamborghini behind us passes us for a brief moment before we get the car straight. So fortunately, we are able to get one last lap into the session with less than 2 seconds left, which is, yeah, we wanted to haul ass on that. Unfortunately though, at about right here, we get our lap invalidated we were just off the track by like a few inches. So very heartbreaking. At that point, I was pretty upset that we just couldn't get a lap in, and we were going to start at the tail end of the field because, of course, no lap, no time, and meaning no qualifying position. We are going to start at the tail end of the field. So we're last for Q2, and that ends our attempt at the complete Grand Slam of a weekend. But that's okay, as we enter race 1 in pole position. So we have best spots here on the race, and we're off. We are green flag for race 1 as we get an almighty start, and we are already half a second ahead of second place. Now, we enter first turn with a good entry and exit. Turn 2 is a lot better than the qualifying sessions. Turn 3 a little bit wide going into turn 4, but we get that car rotating very well, and we get the start that we need, going in 1.3 seconds ahead of second. Turn 5, jumping the curb a little bit, and then turn 6 we go tiny bit wide, but just enough that we get a good exit. Now we find the black tarmac as our braking reference, and we go way too wide up into the marbles into turns 7 and 8. Now for this chicane, we want to let the car coast, and we go a little bit on the brakes, knowing that our tires are still a little bit cold, but we will coast later on into this race. We find the line going into turn 9, going onto the curb a little bit so that we have a good rotation. Turn 10 or turn 11, I believe, third gear. Now we just go flat out right here, jumping the curb a little bit. We want to find the 150 mark as our braking reference, and then we let the car coast from here. We jump those corners, or those curbs, and then going into turn 13, we are way wide, but that's fine. We already have a 4-second gap from first place. A really solid first lap, 2 minutes 6 seconds. It's a very solid first lap right there. Now I'm not gonna hold y'all. This was a very dominant performance of a race. As we have the fastest lap of the session by the end of our second lap, and it just kept getting better and better. 10 seconds had separated us from second place, and we were lapping 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field. So again, really dominant performance by us in this race 1, and this is the kind of benefit when it comes to coming in first during qualifying, and this is what I strive to do when it comes to these whole race weekends. Is we strive for a valued Grand Slam. Our second qualifying, we weren't able to do that, unfortunately, but we always have the next race at the Nurburgring next, so we will strive to do that later. Now here, I almost forgot that I was going to pit at the halfway mark of the race, and as you can see, with about 6 minutes 50 seconds left, we're pretty much over that halfway mark. We want to get into pit lane very nice and neat. We go about maybe like 15 miles an hour over, so penalty wise, we should get a penalty there, but penalties aren't set on here, and I need to, but it doesn't matter. We're still in first place, and we will be first place by the end of this race. Now, entering pit road, very nice. We go a little bit slow, but I mean, it's a perfect stop right there. Very nice and neat, if you ask me. No kind of rotation or adjustment into the stall. Now we just wait. It is our time to just straight wait, and hopefully we can get on and we can get our lead back. All right, so we've been given the green light to go, and we are currently 6th as we exit pit road onto lap 4. Now, as you can see, 5th place ahead is 34 seconds, and we are closing in at a very fast rate. Now, I believe that they still need to have their pit stops, and I believe that everybody behind us has already done their pit stops. So what that means is we are technically the leaders of the race still, because 1st through 5th still needs to do their stops. So They are on older tires. We are closing in at we are 33 seconds, 34, no, we are 34 seconds behind 5th place as of right now, but that will change eventually once these leaders come into pit road. Okay, now we are braking at the 150, cutting the corners on this bus stop right here. Now, the moment of truth. Are these leaders pitting as of right now? We are seeing the times from 5th place closing in very, very fast. And they are in pit lane, as you can see on the map. And we have regained 1st place and leader of the race. We played this strategy absolutely perfect. And we have 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We just need to come in mistake-free. And spoiler alert, we do. We come in here mistake-free. Now, final lap of this race. 0 seconds left. We are on the final lap. And as we cross this finish line, we are going to emerge victorious here at race 1 of the Nurburgring. Coming out of the bus stop, taking the last corner a little bit wide, but just enough that we get the W in race 1 of the Nurburgring. And a good cushion from 2nd place. Wow, what a dominant performance from us. We did it, and I'm very proud. I mean, look at us, man. We are happy. We got the W at the legendary Nurburgring. Now that says something of legendary status right there. Looking at the intervals right here, we had a total time of 15.5 minutes, and we were 15 seconds ahead of 2nd place. Now that is a W, and that just shows how dominant of a car we had. And going into race 2, we're going to start from the back, but we're going to prevail. We're going to get a amazing comeback. Just watch. No spoilers though, so you got to see for yourself. Now looking at our tires, holy shit, we are blue. Now, green flag, and I'm just gonna let y'all see how this race start happened. I'm gonna shut up now. First lap, let's go.
Car on the right, clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right.
So in the first half of that lap, that was not bad. We had actually gained 10 positions just off of that first lap. Now we slid a really good amount of times. However, though, we were still managed to keep that 10th place position, even though right now our downside is that we are 2 seconds behind from 9th. Now we're going to hopefully cut it, as we don't do it that way. We just completely curb hopped that bus stop right there. And we're going super wide on this final corner, and we're going to maintain 2 seconds as of right now. Not bad though, very not bad. I mean, 10 positions within a full lap is pretty goated. Unfortunately, though, we took out those braking markers, so my apologies there. But, I mean, look at the tires now compared to the start of the race. I mean, holy shit, those were blue ball tires at the beginning. Like, those were cold, those were icicles. But now we have them pretty warmed up. Now we are on a mission to get to the front. We are going to be a little ways off, as I don't know how far first place is ahead of us, but we're going to be a little ways off. Now, we're going to try and pass this Audi here and see if we can get a good, clean pass coming into this turn right here. We're going to brake just a little bit late, but we're not going to make the pass here. We're way too far. We could go into the back of them just a tiny bit. And since we're collision and we get a safety rating penalty, I don't know how. I mean, it was a little tiny tap. I mean, enough to set him up. A little tiny tap there too, but I mean, it wasn't enough to like set up the car. But yeah, a very tight battle coming into the end of the second lap here. As we're going to try and get a better exit off of this turn than the Audi. We do. We're going to be side by side right here. Is he going to back off? We're going to go straight through, and he is going to back off as he was going super wide. And we get 9th now off of this turn. Going into the bus stop, see if we get a better exit there. We do. A much better exit. We're going to throttle way too early, going onto the grass, off track, and unsettled right there as well. So we go into the gravel just a little bit and we take up some dust, but we got a new personal fastest lap out of that. Well done. So it wasn't too bad, but we definitely could do much better. Now we are coming up to the Mercedes right here, this number 87 Mercedes, and we're going to get a pass right here. Can we get it cleanly? And we're going to brake a little later, and we do. We get a much better pass, but we go off track. So this race 2, I believe we were off track a little too much. We were way too aggressive in trying to get up front, and we could have been a little more patient. I feel like that's a bit of my problem when it comes to starting the race. As you see here, we jump both curves here on the bus stop, and that's just not proper. We should not be doing that. We're going wide again. We're going super wide, and we kick up dust from the water. And new personal fastest lap now, but it came with cutting corners and stuff, so that's not proper. I don't see that as a good fast lap, but I digress. And as you see here, we go off track again. Like, we are so desperate to get up front and not think about strategy, and that's where I believe this race could get away with us. This one was a little confusing. Track limits here. I don't know how that. I see how this is track limits, but track limits on that previous corner, I just didn't see it because maybe it's just different with games. Like I've seen in Gran Turismo, you can do that in track limits, but all racing games are different and are, what's the word? Not restricted, but they are restricted in different ways. Now, as you can see up top, 6 minutes 45 seconds. This is our pit window as we try to follow the Mercedes behind us. We actually go in the back of him, but he's also going into pit lane along with this long line of cars, including the leader. So this is telling me that we are up close with the leader as we are 5th place as of right now. And we're going to be following these cars into pit lane. And it is going to be a busy pit lane. And we're going to have 31 seconds. We may have a little bit of damage that needs to be worked on. Maybe some body work, maybe some new body work going on. But we are going to have a good pit stop. We go a little bit too far up front, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Coming out, we have we have the leaders, I believe, that are exiting pit lane. And we are going to be exiting the pit lane right about now. And we are going to be exiting the pit road off at 12th place. So, and here I go again with crossing the pit road line. That should be a penalty. Overall, I think this is a very sloppy race. And I believe I could have done a lot better. But, you know, this is a game where it's a simulator. It's not just a video game, it's a simulator. So, we continue learning and we continue to strive to do better. And overall, I believe that my progress on this game entirely has gotten 1,000 times from our first episode of Assetto Corsa. We are 10th in the standings right now compared to before Zandvoort, actually, where we were maybe like 16th, 17th place on the standings, but with our win and our good qualifying, I don't think qualifying counts for points, but I mean, we've been setting good pace overall, and we will continue to do so. Now, we are in a battle with this Audi that we previously had a battle with back in 11th, 10th place on the first lap. Now it is a chore to try and fight back and regain the places that we lost. We were about 7th or 8th, and now we want to try and get 7th or 8th, and maybe a little more. So, side by side with the Audi right now. We're going to break 150 mark. Is that going to be enough? We just coast through the bus stop. We cut the corner a little bit, and we're going to go a little bit off track. Wheels on the curbs, and we are going to get past the Audi, which is a good start from our outline. However, though, that's going to unravel here on the very first turn, as the Audi behind us gets a way better turn and is going to get past us. And the battle's not over. We are going to continue to fight this Audi until the very end. Although we did get 9th, as we had a couple cars taking their pit stops with about 15 seconds left. We moved this Audi right up out of the way, give it a little bump. It's going to go off the track a little bit, but it still is in front of us. We're going to get a later break right there, and we get around him. We get around him, and we're going to be 8th place. Now, we're in point play, so we're going to continue to fight it, but be smart about it so that we don't make any costly mistakes that cause us to crash. Now, we are going to try and fight for this 7th place with about 2 minutes left. And I mean, I don't really see that happening as well, unless we can really tighten up and clean up how we take and exit our corners right now. We're still a little bit loose. We go in throttle a little bit too much from time to time still, but we are still keeping a good pace on the Mercedes in front of us. However, though, here is our final lap of the race, as the leader has crossed the line to take the final lap. We are still behind the Mercedes, so this will be our last chance to try and get 7th. We will not be getting first, unfortunately, but we had a good first race. Dominant at that. And we're going to continue to battle for 7th as we get behind the Mercedes and give them a little tap. We go into the marbles, so that won't give us that good of a start, but we're going to get a run here. We're going to go through the outside to take 7th on the final lap. Let's go, boys. 7th place is ours for the time being. Can we get 6th? 6th is a little too far for our liking right now, and we are still a little sloppy going into and out of corners. So with that, I believe we still have a very good finishing position. We are going to finish this race P7, which is not bad at all. We went from P20 to P7, an incredible recovery for this race. And we're able to bag some very crucial points going into the final race at the Hungaroring. To recap the weekend at the Nurburgring, free practice 1 first place. Free practice 2, also first place. Q1, as you know, pole position for race 1. Q2 failed to get a lap going after 3 laps around the track. Race 1, first place, dominant performance, and race 2, valiant P7 to end off the race. And we get an extra 3 points going into the championship after max points, 16.5 from race 1. So that's about 19.5 points whole as of the end of this weekend. And here are the standings, and look at that. We are P3 going into the final race at the Hungaroring. Is it possible for us to get a championship? It is quite possible if we can get a full dominant performance going into the weekend. Now, that's going to be totally up to us, as this race will probably be an hour. It's going to be a very special one coming up for you guys. I promise you that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate all the love these videos have been getting. And if you are new to this, please like and subscribe, as the Hungaroring is going to be one special race when it gets released. I promise you guys that. Once again, thank you guys for the love and support on the channel. Please like and subscribe for more, and I will see you all on the next one, man. Peace out.